Hello mages, how are you? I hope you're good. Today I am here with a very optional, very optional, just a fun little challenge if you're looking for an extra one outside of the months of our usual readathon, April and August. This is very much an easy one book per month type of deal, but just something fun to track if you so want to. And a little adventure for us to go on throughout the year. I mean, you've seen it from the thumbnail probably, but here it is. This is what we're working with. I have myself a little printed version, but you totally don't have to. I will be linking this down below for an adventure. What's the goal of this, I hear you ask? Well, it's twofold. First is, of course, the flavor. If you've created a character, I'm sure you have added bits and pieces for the personality, for their inventory, for whatnot. And at the end of this adventure, if you make it, if you don't perish, you will receive something to add to your being. I don't want to say inventory because it's mainly like alive things. But then also, if you want a little bit more of a tangible reward, every month if you complete that single prompt that you will have, you can basically treat it as a quest, which means that you get 10 guild reputation points towards your character. This is a sheet for the reputation points. Once you reach a certain level, you get certain rewards, so that when you come back for April and August, you also get a certain type of reward or a perk used during those months, which makes it a little bit easier to fulfill more prompts, or there's a leniency on some rules. If you've been here since very long time ago, you will remember that we did have a choose your own adventure type of map before, and this is similar to that. We have a bunch of choices and you can only go one way from that particular point, so it's not like, you know, you're not doing everything, you're only getting one prompt a month, but you make decisions based on what kind of sounds better. And if you'll see on this side of the sheet, you have months, and whatever is on that line, that is the monthly row of choices, basically. You'll notice that both April and August have the Orilium already penciled in for you, so on those months you actually don't get an extra prompt, you just do your usual semesters. But so really it's 10 prompts rather than 12, but it's still a yearly challenge. You go through your little adventures and gain something at the end and collect some points on the way. If you want to partake, feel free. You don't have to have done anything. You can create a new character. You can just start from here as per usual. I say this in every video, but I will link playlist of Orilium videos in the description if you want to check out what all of this is. I know we keep building on top, so it becomes a little bit convoluted, but hopefully it's still easy to keep track of. Let me walk through your choices. You can also just quit the video here if you would rather not spoil yourself, but I'm pretty sure people will go through this either way. But I'm going to go through the choices in a monthly manner, just in case there is something that I want to address and explain, because I obviously didn't have too much of a space to put stuff in more detail. We begin by having two choices. We're standing over here and we can either turn left or we can turn right. If you choose to turn left, your prompt is to start a series, and if you choose to turn right, your prompt is to finish a series. That doesn't mean to start and finish the series, it just means to read the book that's the last in the series that you already had going on. Because remember, this is just one book. Every month is one book. For February, there are 4 choices, but again, you only pick one. You'll see where your choices are depending on the little footprints and where they lead. So if you chose to turn left, these 2 are your choices. If you chose to turn right, these 2 are your choices. So if you chose to go right, you cannot go here or here, if that makes sense. So for February, if you turn left, you can either go to the forest or go towards a lake. Those prompts are very self-explanatory, so I'm not gonna go through them. If you turn right, you can go towards a castle or in a cave. For the cave prompt is nothing but words on the cover. That means that it's a cover that literally has like nothing else but words. Like it doesn't have a picture, it doesn't have a person, it doesn't have an item. It's just a very simplistic, let me check if a lot of non-fiction books have that. So for example here, like this, like Wiggle wouldn't count, but this would be a cover that only has words on the cover. For March, there are 2 fights you might end up in on this adventure. You'll either fight a giant, which means reading a book over 500 pages, or you're going to fight a wizard who clearly has wronged you in some way. You're gonna have a little battle. And for this is to read a book that has a rating for over 4.3 stars, whether on Goodreads or Storygraph or whatever system you use that has ratings. So the average rating would just have to be over that amount. In April, again, we're all going to meet back in Orilium. I'll see you there for our next semester, and you do not have to do anything else for this particular adventure. You just have to show up and have fun on our usual semester. But then after, you can either stay at Orilium or you can travel to Carador instead. If you stay at Orilium, you need to read a book that finishes on an even page number. So, for example, just because I have this book here, I would go for the last page of the actual book, so before any like acknowledgements or anything like that. And for example, this one ends on page 268, and that is an even number, so it would fulfill it. So it's just a little bit of a scavenger hunt through the books that you have maybe already planned on reading that month, seeing which one fits which one category. In June, those who stayed at Orilium can either visit the locked library, which, you know, we have an ASMR room for that if you fancy, or break into the main lab. Obviously, you can make these choices based on the prompts, or you can make those choices based on what you think your character would like to do. For the break into the lab, the prompt is to acquire a book you don't already own, and that doesn't mean that you have to go and buy a book. You can if you fancy, but you can also obviously taking it out of the library or borrowing an ebook from a library app obviously also very much count. And if you travel to Carador in June, you can either visit a wizard tower, which Carador is filled with, or stop by the Crossroad Tavern, a very famous tavern with a lot of fun folk visiting that place every day. And the prompts for that are book with a prologue or book that has an author's note. Not all of them have that, but some do. So another little scavenger hunt type of prompt. In July, this is where the first kind of little flavor thing happens and you get to add something to your inventory. If you stayed at Orilium, you get to brew a potion of Sleepless Night, where the prompt is read when it's dark outside. Or if you travel to Carador, it's pocket a scroll of light summons, and it's to read when it's light outside. So it's more of an active prompt doing said reading of that book, primarily when it's either dark or light outside. August, again, we're meeting at Orilium for our semester. August is always a hard month. There's a lot to read, and I didn't think that we will need an extra prompt for that. So it's another one where you take a break from adventuring. In September, you can do a little schmoozing with someone that you would like to romance and go on a date. You can sign up for advanced inscription class. Get a little bit extra in depth with some signs and symbols that you would like to experiment with. So for September, it's book with romance. Doesn't have to be just romance. It can just have, a romance storyline in there, but obviously any romance book would fit this greatly. And for advanced inscription class is a dark academia book. In October, those who went on a date still are with the date person and can either stargaze or adventure together. So proposition, propose, not marriage, but to go adventuring together. Those prompts are pretty self-explanatory, I think. And for those who went to the advanced class, you can either decipher an ancient scroll or inspect a new glyph, like a mysterious one. For the scroll, the prompt is chapters have titles. So again, like for example, this one, chapters have titles, and some other books only have a number as a chapter, and that is the prompt for the glyph. Now, depending on the choice in October, whichever way you went, now you're just gonna go straight down. The path is already laid out for you, so you don't really get a lot of choices, but you do get something at the end. If you chose to stargaze in November, you're going to go to visit Old Favor Pass, a little early access to it, I guess. Again, ASMR room here. The book is just to have a winter setting. If you propose to adventure together, we pick up a rescue quest from the adventure board. For that is to read a book at a risk of an unhold. Ancient scroll folk, you're going to be learning a transformation spell because that is what was on your ancient scroll. For the people who were inspecting a mysterious glyph, you are now going to inscribe said glyph with your new advanced skills to your conduit, being that a staff or a wand. You're just gonna etch and inscribe magically that glyph into your conduit to see what happens. In December, which is the last stop for us in this adventure, you'll notice that your conduit lights up, and out of that light shoots out this silvery soul animal, a little companion you can summon anytime that you have your conduit with yourself, which is always in a shape of a fox. So the prompt is fox on the cover or in the title. And congratulations, your flavor for your character is that you can now summon this spirit fox whenever your heart desires. A little companion just to have floating by yourself, maybe giving you some special powers, special abilities. Going back to those who took the ancient scroll that turned out to be about transformation, you all of a sudden, you weren't quite prepared, but you turn into a phoenix. You didn't have this ability before, but suddenly you have wings instead of your arms and you're feeling extra hot. So for that is a fire in the title, like the word fire in the title. By the end of the year, congratulations, you will master the ability to turn into a phoenix and turn back from that. So you'll have a shape-shifting ability, even if that wasn't necessarily what you were studying for. For those who went adventuring together and on a rescue mission, after defeating some really mean poachers, you will find a bunch of baby owl cat cubs, and out of those each one of you will pick the fluffiest, the cutest little owl cat, and you'll be forever bonded and you'll have a new pet. So for this is an owl or a cat on the cover. And for those who went to visit Old Favor Pass in December, you will just stop by the Wallace's Winter Animals shop. At the petting zoo, there is a little adoption station, and you will adopt a baby poof otter, which are these tiny creatures that are otters and they swim about, but they're also fluffy. So they're just poofy little balls of otters, and you get to adopt one and take it home and have a little pet as well. So that is the path and the consequences, I guess, and the journey of our adventure. If you want little extra challenge throughout the year, this can make a great addition to like a reading journal. If you want to make a little spread for it, if you do, please tag me. I would love to see that. I just thought it will be fun to add an extra year-long one, even if you don't want to do the main April, August batches. If that's too much for you, this can also give a little flavor extra choice. But that's it. That's literally it. I hope you will enjoy this. Let me know if you think it's fun. I guess if you don't think it's fun, don't say that to me. It's okay to just click away. Thank you again so much. I cannot wait to explore more of Orilium with you in 2023. Thank you so much for everything and participating in this with me and geeking with me. Thanks so much for watching. Have fun. I'll see you soon. Bye.